can almost time it, right? She was actually in the front yard and was watching me. She didn't have to hear me and wake up. She was up in the carport, right? You were alert. She's purring. I feel it right here in her ribs. You don't like me touching your ribs, huh? Are you ticklish? Are you ticklish? You know, some cats, if you rub them on the ribs right here, they get ticklish. Yeah, she's ticklish. She'd probably give me a love nip, right? Happy July 1st, everyone. Sandy and I say July 1st, Saturday morning. How's everything going? How's everybody's plants? No, how's everybody's kids? The fur babies, the pet children, the animals, animules. I think we're the only ones with cats, right? And out of everybody, it's just here that we have cats. And I would have never considered myself a cat person. You know, I grew up hating cats. I was at my neighbor's house, Mr. and Mrs. Merrick across the street. They used to feed their cat. In the summertime, they would go up to their cabin in North Carolina. And during the wintertime, they had the house down here across from us. They were an elderly couple. He was retired from Eastern Airlines as a mechanic because the airlines had its home base right there in Miami, where they worked on planes, changed out engines, everything right there. That was like the major hangars and everything. So he retired from Eastern. They had a cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains. In a few minutes I'll remember where she said it was. And summertime, I would mow their grass. I would actually use their mower. I had a key to their garage, to their house, and I would use their mower most of the time. And I'd feed their cat once every day, take a can of food. She left a bunch of food for it. I think my mom would get, there's one of those crab-looking spiders, right? Crab-looking spider. Get off of there. That's my stick for attacking. It's my attacking stick for stinging ants. Feed their cat. When they would come back, I went over there to get them to pay me. She would send me they would send me a check every month for like $30 for doing all that. And for being like 15 years old, $30 a month is a lot of money. That was just one house. It would give me $30 a month, something like that. Of course, I'd do a couple of the yards. I really should have gone into the lawn business. Aunt Teresa's first husband, Doc Parrott, his father, may they rest in peace, they moved from Miami up here to just south of Polk County. But he made his living, supported his family. He had a lawn business, and he had like a 2-bay shop with a whole bunch of people working for him. He used to tell me when equipment would break, they wouldn't try to repair it. They would just get another piece of equipment in there to finish the job. And then when they had downtime, they would repair all their equipment and service it. I'm just talking on the camera. Is that okay? I'm just talking on the camera. All right? I'm not talking about you. If I said, Sandy, 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 then you know I'm talking about you. He made his livelihood doing grass down there. And I can see where if you did a good job just word of mouth would spread, because that's how it spread with me. And I was doing 4 or 5 lawns, every 10 days, making decent money. But should have done that. Sitting on her couch one day after they came back. They were either getting ready to go or had just come back, and I'd helped him unload his trailer or something. I was sitting on the couch. I was talking about cats. The cat that I'd been feeding, they would let in the house. It was an indoor-outdoor cat. So it jumps on my lap. And I understand cats now, but I didn't then. And it was a cat like Annie that liked to hold its tail up real high and liked to show you its butthole. So the cat jumps on my lap, and he turns around and sticks his butthole like right up here in my face. And that's one of the reasons I didn't like cats. To have a cat do that, to jump on your lap and immediately turn around and show you its butthole. That's cats being friendly, in their most simple form. The smarter cats don't do that. Annie's really the only cat that does that we have. She likes to turn around and show you her butt. And when she does, like with this cat, I'll always push the tail down because I can't stand them to have their tail up. A lot of times if there's any poop or something there, it'll stink. So that's why you see me when she gets on my lap, my hand will be on her backside, and you'll notice I'll push her tail down when she turns around. Because I can't stand them to do that. But I understand why. There's a fly bothering me. Other than stinging ants, flies are bad. Flies are symbols of evil, right? Remember, not The Shining. It was the Amityville Horror. The priest goes upstairs, and the flies start filling the room, and he can't get out. Right? I'm trying to remember that guy's name, because the guy that played the priest was a very serious actor. So I've come a long way with cats. So that's how I ended up with all these cats. It started with Kitsy. I think it's Stephanie brought Sammy back to Aunt Teresa's to have it. What? This cat just jumped like somebody shocked it or something. She's just afraid something's going to come down and get her. I guess because she looked like Kitsy. I was just talking about Kitsy. But I've come a long way from being a dog person. It was the fly. The fly tried to get her. You don't like flies either, huh? She's grooming because she's getting ready to fall asleep, and there's just one fly that's bothering me. I might have to go get a can of... She's trying to get it too. That's what she's doing. She doesn't like flies, I guess, either. And the ones we got in the house will do the same thing. Bongo and Bam Bam will run after a fly and they'll chase it down if it gets stuck on the windows. I get those sticky papers. They're only $1 for like 4 of them. I put those sticky things on my windows. When I get a fly in the house, because the cats are chasing it, I'll open up the blinds in the kitchen and in the living room where the sticky tapes are. And usually a fly will fly to a window as long as there's light coming in. And they always get stuck. The one yesterday got stuck on the sticky tape. And then Bongo wants to jump up on the sink to get the fly on the sticky tape. And I could just see her getting all wrapped up in that. I'd come home someday and she'd be all wrapped up in sticky tape. Talking about Bongo. I hate that fly. You hate flies too? There's just one fly, and I might have to go get that can of aerial bombardment spray. Well, I'm waiting for hope everybody's pets are doing okay. Our cats are doing fine. Except for the fly that's bothering Sandy. she makes me lurch when she goes after that fly because she's like so quick. Your cats could like scratch you and attack you so fast. There's my buddy, the squirrel, on the fence. Maybe he wants to be in this video, right? So, pets are okay. Everybody's got dogs except us, which I don't mind because we can leave the cats alone for a day or two with food and water and litter boxes. You don't have to worry about them making a mess. Other than scratching the walls when I first moved in here, I haven't had really any trouble with them. They've been good indoor pets. Low maintenance, I would say. With Cooter, I used to have to take her out, and she was good. I only took her out like 2 or 3 times a day. I'd work 12 hours, an hour drive back and forth. I'd be gone 14 hours a day. She'd hold her pee. Oh, God bless Cooter. But I was waiting for the air conditioner part to arrive from Amazon. Now, I had an option of ordering one yesterday, but it would have been from like 2 to 6 or 6 to 10 p.m. I go to bed so early I didn't want to risk, and I probably wouldn't go out there and work on it like at 6 p.m. anyway. So it all depends on what time they deliver today. UPS a lot of times was coming by around 6 p.m. like the same time every day. And Amazon used to come around late as well. Now, last couple of times Amazon's been coming around earlier in the day. So I haven't been ordering much from Amazon. I ordered the capacitor yesterday, and I ordered a hot start kit, which is a solenoid or relay and a boosting capacitor, and it just plugs right onto the capacitor that's already in there, and then you mount it inside the box. And just in case the compressor decides not to start with the new capacitor, I ordered that this morning, the hot start kit. You can get them separately with the relay and the capacitor, but they make an all-in-one. And again, it's the surprisingly high price of like $14. So that can be mounted inside, and just in case the compressor decides to want to give me an issue. I know it's trying to start. There's a high and low pressure switch on those too. That'll turn things on and off. Pressure's too high or too low. Those can go out every once in a while. They're built into the refrigerant line. And they take a little bit more disassembly than what I did yesterday. So that's my take on cats. The Merricks, may they rest in peace. Mr. and Mrs. Merrick. My dad told me a story about Mrs. Merrick had the sugar real bad. And she had to take insulin. She had to inject insulin into her body. She had it that bad. And my dad told me the story about Mr. Merrick called him. His name was Ken and her name was Muriel. My dad called him and said, "Can you come over? Muriel's not looking well." So my dad said he went over there, and they slept in separate rooms. And he went into Muriel's room and she was laying in bed dead. She said Mr. Merrick got all upset. You know, he had stopped smoking for like 30 or 40 years, and he didn't feel like he had any reason to live, so he started smoking again right after that. And I don't think it was too long before his niece came, and they sold the house, and his niece let him move in with her. She lived up in Jacksonville, somewhere, Merritt Island, Jacksonville, Kennedy Space Center, somewhere up there. And they sold the house to a young black couple. And That's the story of Mrs. Merrick. Mr. Merrick, of course, eventually died, but he wasn't no longer at our across the street. They were an extremely good couple, nice couple. You know, the elderly people next door used to mow their grass at 6 a.m. Saturday morning, because our windows were open because we had no AC. A good couple that fly. The Merricks, Ken and Muriel across the street, good people. People next door, the McSwains, they kind of kept to themselves. He was the head bellboy over at the Fontainebleau Hotel. That was the big ritzy hotel right on Miami Beach. I think it was right across from Hollover. It's that hotel across from videos that I show you. I guess the head bellboy or bellhop, as the head guy, he'd been there 30 years, he made a lot of money. They were all World War II veterans. So that's who moved into that neighborhood, were veterans. They only sold houses in that neighborhood when they were built to veterans. So that's how they ended up there. And let's see who else. Mr. and Mrs. Head, they were next door to Mr. Merrick. An interesting thing about the Heads is he put together an airplane kit in his back garage. He had a garage in the back of his house, and he built a plane back there, and every once in a while he'd have the garage door open and we'd see this airplane in his garage without wings on it. That's what I remember about Mr. and Mrs. Head. They ended up selling out and moving up here to Central Florida somewhere. You know, the bottom line is all those people are gone. That was one generation. Now the other generation is getting older, as you see before you. So it's interesting not having anything to talk about. I come out and get started on cats. Think about why I hated cats at the beginning because of the Merrick's cat, and how Kitsy changed all that for me somehow. I ended up with Kitsy. And why on earth I decided to take him in, I don't know. Maybe it was because I was alone, right? And I needed a pet or something. But no dogs, please. I'm a cat man now. Squirrels on that fence. I'll cut this out, or maybe I'll put it in there. This is another Goodwill camera. Oh boy, as soon as I turn this on. This has a digital zoom, which I'm in now, in the digital side. Look how close this thing gets. An Angel, the one you got, will do the same thing. I had it set on just optical zoom, because you don't lose any pixels when you're in optical zoom. Show you how far this had zoomed in. And when you're in digital zoom, it starts to pixelate after a while. But overall, this isn't bad, huh? Look how far. Look at how this thing zooms in. Ready? Here it goes. What's he eating? Looks like he's eating a roach or something. When I put this video together, I'll see what he was eating. I'll do this as an overlay like I did before. You know, I'll put this on top of this video, like up here in the corner, like I did before, so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the Vixia HF-M40. It's another Goodwill camera. think I have 2 left. The HF-200, which is the one below the one Angel's got. But get out there someday, Angel, and do the zoom on it, because it's incredible. You can sit in the back. The stabilizer is not that great. If you hear it shaking around, that's the optical stabilizer, which is like a not a solenoid, what do they call it? A spinning thing. You know, they're very alien, to tell you the truth. This is the HF-M40. It's got 16 gigabytes of internal memory. And Angel, yours was set on optical. You can change it to digital so you can get more zoom. This has a better optical stabilizer than yours and the HF-200. And this one says HD CMOS Pro. And I think this camera was $60. I am really pleased with what they cost. 1920 by 1080, can't beat it. I think I've talked too much today. Much of talk about nothing, right? 21 minutes. Don't really have much of an edit in here. That squirrel's still up there on the fence. Thank you, God, for another day, another Saturday. God, time seems to go by so fast anymore. Thank you for giving us this extra time. Help us to appreciate and see you in all of our daily activities. Help our hearts to grow in grace and wisdom and love. Help us to just be better people. And hopefully it'll show in the way we live. And may we be reasonably happy in this life, supremely happy forever in the next. Amen. I will see you on Sunday, good Lord willing. Sandy's looking at the squirrel now. She sees it like I did. That's my buddy the squirrel. I have to maybe call it Sally the squirrel. If it's a boy, we'll figure out something else. I love you, one and all, present and future people. Be at peace. Have a good night. And wake up to a fresh new day tomorrow on Sunday. Just try to get a little bit closer. See if this is a boy or a girl. Can you tell? These cameras have such a good zoom on them. It is still chowing down on whatever it was eating. Hey, Squirrely. Hey, Sally. Hey, Sally. Hey, Sally. You just got to hold it really still when you're zoomed in. Gosh, that's great. Look how fast it zooms out. Thanks for watching.